With the 2024 NBA Draft just 2 weeks away, teams across the league are approaching one of the offseason's initial transactional milestones. This makes it an opportune moment to lay the groundwork for potential trades. We can expect numerous trades to occur on draft night, particularly as teams previously restricted by the Stephen rule can now trade their 2024 first-round picks. Additionally, the period leading up to and following the draft often sees more activity than anticipated. I've put together a handful of hypothetical high-end exchanges that send big names to new destinations. Though many of the blockbusters I've included may seem far-fetched, just remember that it was around this time last year that Kristaps Porzingis, Marcus Smart, Chris Paul, Bradley Beal, and a whole heap of future first-rounders changed hands. The New Orleans Pelicans acquire Karl-Anthony Towns from the Minnesota Timberwolves for Brandon Ingram, Larry Nance Jr., and a 2027 first-round pick via Milwaukee. The Minnesota Timberwolves would face significant challenges in acquiring fair value for Karl-Anthony Towns, making it one of the many reasons they should refrain from trading him. With a hefty $221.1 million owed over the next 4 years, most teams might hesitate to invest in a big man with inconsistent playoff performances and the defensive limitations. Moreover, the Timberwolves cannot simply settle for a high-level deal aimed solely at reducing salary. While ownership groups may prioritize cost-cutting for non-playoff contenders, a team like the Wolves, which ousted the defending champions and made it to the Western Conference Finals, deserves the opportunity to build on that success next season. However, despite these considerations, a trade involving Karl-Anthony Towns remains a tangible possibility this offseason, if not sooner, possibly by the 2025 trade deadline. In this scenario, the Timberwolves would receive Brandon Ingram and Larry Nance Jr. both on expiring contracts in 2024-25, with salaries of $36 million and $11.2 million respectively. This acquisition could be beneficial for a Minnesota team, especially considering their scoring struggles. Ingram's ability to create offense out of thin air could effectively address this pressing need. Placing him in the starting lineup between Jaden McDaniels and Anthony Edwards could also provide a buffer against challenging defensive matchups. Timberwolves could explore starting Nazrid in a lineup emphasizing size, possibly relegating Mike Conley to a 6-man role. This adjustment could bolster bench units that struggle to generate points. In New Orleans, rim protection has been a persistent concern during Jonas Valanciunas' tenure. While Karl-Anthony Towns may not directly address this issue, his ability to stretch the floor as a center could fill a void and potentially enhance Zion Williamson's aggressive attacking style. Implementing 5-out formations with Karl-Anthony Towns, renowned as one of the NBA's most lethal shooting big men, could elevate the performance of every player on the Pelicans roster. Although New Orleans might concede defensively, Herb Jones' defensive prowess could potentially mitigate any shortcomings, ensuring the team maintains a solid rankings in the league's defensive standings. Should Towns propel the Pelicans to a top 5 offense, their balanced two-way profile could translate to over 50 victories and a competitive edge against most postseason adversaries.